So if you're a brand new drone pilot and you got yourself a brand new DJI Mini 3 Pro or a Mavic 3 Classic for the very first time, and you're looking forward to the summer holidays, but you have also been out testing your brand new drone. And let's say you were out testing your drone before you go on your summer vacation, and you were out flying a few hundred meters only for then to realize that the signal is flexing up and down, and you're just standing there clueless thinking, why would I spend $1,000+ on this? So in today's video, I want to show you a super simple trick if you're a beginner pilot on how to keep a consistent signal throughout your flight. But of course the transmission has its limits as well, and it also depends on where you're flying. So in the US, for example, your range is going to be about 30 to 40% better than if you were flying in Europe because of the European regulations. But there is one thing that you can practice as a new pilot, and this is also pretty easy to forget. So we've basically all been there when we're out flying and something on the screen catches our eyes and we want to fly to that location or to that boat or to that area and shoot a video. But the problem is we get so drawn to the screen and we just stand there thinking, wow, this looks amazing. And then suddenly a signal loss or even stutter because the transmission between the drone and the controller cuts out because of interferences or because the antennas are not facing the drone. And in a lot of situations, you might have experienced this already depending on how long you have been flying a drone, but you might not even fly for a very long distance, but you still experience some issues with the signal between the RC controller or the RC N1 controller and the Mini 3 Pro. And the only way to keep the signal at par is to always face the controller towards the drone, and in some situations it can be a little bit tricky, and it can also be very easy to forget, especially if you're a brand new pilot. So let's say the scenario is that you are traveling to your favorite location, but this time you're traveling with a drone, and this is the first time you're going to fly that drone at that location. And when you put this out into the air, it's going to be overwhelming with everything that you see, which you haven't seen before. This is the first time that you are seeing your favorite location from above, especially something that you film yourself. And like I said, it can be really overwhelming. And you might find yourself just staring at the screen and not paying attention to anything because it's the first time you're flying your drone, and it's the first time you're flying your drone in your favorite location. So it can be really overwhelming. So there is a few things that you can practice and sort of make a habit of when you get your drone for the very first time, which is really important if you ask me. So on the bottom here, we have a map, which will enlarge once we tap on it, and it will also update your location when the home point is updated. And on the bottom right of the map, we have the radar option. This shows you an indication of where the controller is versus the drone. Or you can swap it around and select the top left icon on the radar, which will put the drone in the center. This dot will turn green when you're facing the antennas directly towards the drone. And when the screen is green, you have the optimal transmission feed between the drone and the controller. It's also important to know that this has some delays to it and might not always be green despite the controller facing directly towards the drone. And there is a few fixes to this if you experience that your controller is facing directly towards the drone but you still see that the dot is blue. It's all about how you have been handling your drone in the past. So let's say if you're hand catching your drone every single time and then you flip it over to stop the motors, in length this can actually mess with your IMU, and you will need to do another IMU calibration in order to have the optimal signal. Even though the IMU is protected, it's a fragile part of the measurements of your drone, and it also provides the orientation data of the drone's position and velocity, so any damage or stress to the IMU can cause system failures or system issues in general. But regardless of hand catching or not, moving with the drone is the best way to obtain the ultimate signal strength. It's not really something you have to practice, but rather turn into a habit. So you make yourself do it every single time you're out flying the drone. If you are out flying in that direction, you stand like this, and if you see on the screen I'm gonna fly to the left, then you can turn your body and the controller a little bit to the left as well to make sure that you always maintain the best possible signal that you can achieve here in Europe with these two devices. In the US, you might not even have this issue because you have the privilege of having a better signal. We don't have that here, which sucks, but that's, you know, the European regulations, and that's how it is. So when you're out flying your brand new drone, just make sure that your body and the controller are moving in the same direction as your drone is flying. And if you do this, you're gonna have a much better flight experience. And let's say if you're encountering large buildings or any obstacles between you and the drone and you start seeing that the signal is dropping, you can always try to walk a few meters to either side and see if that helps. After all, the signal runs in a straight line, and changing up your position a bit might prevent you from having a signal loss and a return to home. So just by knowing the simple steps of how to improve your signal in any situation will make your flight experience much better when you go out and fly for the very first time. And if you're a brand new drone pilot, I recommend grabbing my free DJI Mini 3 Pro settings sheets, which will be down in the description below. These will give you a straightforward instruction of the settings that I use with the DJI Mini 3 Pro and the RC controller, as well as tips and tricks for when to use the different ND filters and more. I'm also working on some settings sheets for the Avata as well. I know a lot of you have been interested in how I get such amazing quality with the Avata, and it's basically pretty straightforward. But I'm working on those. They will be available soon, and you can download those for free as well. Print them, have them in your pocket, have them in your wallet, have them on your phone, whatever you want to do. It will include all the information about how I use the Avata and what settings I use and all of that. And also don't forget to grab a copy of my Signature LUTs, which has been used in this video and all of my videos, and these are so versatile. It works with any camera, any profile, and you can color match with ease. So let's say you're flying some FPV, then you fly some Mini 3 Pro, and then you use some Action 3 and some GoPro. You can use the same LUT with all of those different cameras and profiles, and they will look exactly the same. So more on those LUTs will be linked down in the description below if you want to check them out. So that wraps it up for today's video. Really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also if you found some value in this pretty simple, straightforward, but easy to forget tip on how to move your controller with the Mini 3 Pro when you're out flying. Drop a like down below if you found any value in that. Now, it's pretty easy to forget, and I'm sure every single drone pilot have experienced this issue because what they see on the screen looks so amazing, and you just focus on getting the shot. And if you are 1500 meters away and there is some interferences between that, and you are standing like this and the drone is over there, the tiniest interference might kick out your signal. But if you turn it towards the drone and make sure that everything is lined up, the signal might not drop out if interference is experienced or anything is coming by which is making some interferences. So with that said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any future videos, and also drop a like if you found any value in today's video, and I will catch you in the next one.